You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hello and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. We are beginning with part 2 of our Cabral HouseCalls, our weekend community Q&A, where we're going through somewhere between 8 and 10 questions each and every Saturday and Sunday. Looking forward to today's questions. We had some pretty amazing ones yesterday. Yesterday we went over digestive health, we went over eczema, we went over E. coli and parasites and candida overgrowth and the right order to do those. We went over graying hair. So many topics to be able to cover. So do hope you tuned into yesterday's show. That was episode 1212. So go to stephencabral.com/1212 for yesterday's Q&A. And today's show will be episode 1213. So stephencabral.com/1213. And as always, you can head over to stephencabral.com/podcasts for all the previous 1,212 shows. Okay, so now let's dive into the show. I'm going to get right into it today. And the first question is from Anonymous. Anonymous is asking, "Hi, Doc. First thing I'd like to do is thank you. Great podcast. You've been helping a lot of people with the information you've shared. Keep it up. I have a mold question in regards to genetics. The most popular mold physician says testing for specific HLA-DR genes is necessary to determine if the body is creating the antibodies to go after the molds in the body. I have what he calls the dreaded gene that is found in only 1% of the population, meaning multiple susceptibility to mold, lyme, etc., as my body apparently doesn't create the antibodies against them. On top of this, I have an MTHFR mutation. So my question is whether this HLA-DR gene testing matters or not. Do the MTHFR, HLA-DR gene genetic tests all mean the same thing? There is much debate as to the credibility behind this theory, so I was hoping to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks." Anonymous, I feel very strongly about this. No doctor, no practitioner, no one should ever put the thought in your head that for some reason you can't heal. Growing up, when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, doctors told me this was something I was going to have to learn to live with. Those genes you have, so do I. They mean nothing. They mean they're in your genetics, but if you study epigenetics, if you study Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, if you study others' work, your genes are something that can be manipulated based on environment and based on your mind's input, meaning that your mind affects your nervous system, which affects every cell in your body. So do they matter? They do if you're put in the wrong environment. But here's the thing. I had mold toxicity. I had candida toxicity. I had those things. Do I have them today? Nope. Not even a trace amount. So does it matter that I have those genes? Not really. Because here's the thing. You do the work to get rid of them. You get your body as healthy as possible in both mind and body. Your immune system becomes elevated and you fight them off. There is no one gene in your body that trumps everything else. There really is not. We have to get to the point that we are not our genes themselves, but what we create in life. And as you begin to fill up that rain barrel with stress and with toxins and with mold and with candida and processed food and phthalates and parabens and everything else, yes, it can make you sick. And your genetics then begin to show themselves in a negative way. But here's what we need to do. We need to run an organic acids test if you want, run a mold test, a mycotox test, see if you have them, do the work to manually boost your immune system, and manually remove the mold from your body, heal yourself, and then never look back. So, I mean, it's up for debate, the most popular mold physician. Sure, I know who you're talking about. That's one person's opinion. Really, I'm not going to focus on the negative. I'm going to focus on helping people get well and stay well and not tell them they're going to be sick for life. I just haven't seen it in my practice. Nobody needs to be sick for life. So Anonymous, hopefully that helps. Thank you for bringing that up. Jeanette's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. My friend was diagnosed with ocular pressure due to an imbalance of eye fluid production. He, as told, it can lead to glaucoma and blindness. Is there a way to balance this naturally? Thank you, Jeanette. Absolutely, Jeanette. Thank you for writing in. So we need to look at what's causing this pressure behind the eye, the ocular pressure. So one thing right away is this. We know that cannabis, and I don't recommend using marijuana per se, but you can use CBD oil to decrease that ocular pressure. We know that that works. Check out the studies on that. Honestly, just check out the studies. You can do that on your own. So an organic has to be organic. Do not buy non-organic CBD oil. If it doesn't say organic, it's not organic. Okay. Some of the farms here, well, here's the thing. In the US, it can't be certified US organic for hemp. It's just, that's not the way it works. In Europe, it can be. So as long as it's organically grown, that's good too. Okay. So organically grown CBD. That's what we want to do. Okay. So this is temporary relief, which is great. Temporary relief is still relief. We like that. Now, let's work on the underlying root cause of this. What is causing the inflammation in your body? That I can't answer, but I can tell you what can answer it. Running the big 5 labs, or at least, absolutely at least, the starter kit, which is the hair tissue mineral analysis and the organic acids test, plus an omega-3, will at least give you a great basis point of where to start. Would I love to add in the food sensitivity test and thyroid adrenal hormone? Of course I would. But it's all based on finances, right? If you can run the big 5, run the big 5. Add the stool test to it right now if you can as well. I mean, those labs, you'll never regret it. I mean, that's how I figured out what was going on with me. I ran labs that my MD knew nothing about. Not to say that my MD was bad. They're actually brilliant. Great medical doctor. Great. Do they practice natural health? No. Do they practice disease? Yes. Okay, what I'm looking to do is figure out for myself back in the day, what was wrong with me and why can't I get better? Can't figure that out. You just can't figure that out from a conventional medicine perspective. That's okay. It's not meant to do that. It's meant to work on acute-based disease of the body. Can't do chronic-based, so now let's work on chronic-based. Let's figure out what's imbalanced of the body. And those lab tests will show you that. So hopefully that helps. You can head over to equilibriumnutrition.com for those at-home lab tests. They get shipped all around the world. And again, you could always do those with a local integrative health practitioner or a qualified local functional medicine doctor as well. Marissa's up next. Dr. Cabral, I really appreciate you and all your time spent on sharing your years of reading and knowledge with our community. I found you by my research on Ayurveda, and since finding you, I've listened to almost every podcast you have done. I feel like I have gotten my own certification in wellness by having all this information you've shared. Thank you. You've helped me, my friends, and my family to live better. Thank you, Marissa. I really appreciate that. And that is what I want. I want to be able to create a podcast and eventually videos and books that you will learn more in that, in my opinion, than you would having gone back to school or anything else. Because what I want to do is supply you with information that I've learned that you can't get in school. From 250,000 client appointments, from traveling all over the world, and from just years of reading thousands of books. So that's what I want to pass on. And it's something, as long as the internet is alive, that information will be free and out there forever. And so that's obviously my goal. Okay, your question is, you said you've done the Dr. Ball detox, you've done the CBO protocol and finisher, heavy metal detox, you use the daily nutritional support, the adrenal soothe, you use CBD and other products daily. 40-year-old Vata body type and enjoy the gym. I like going at 5 a.m., usually do it fasted. I don't want any food, but some days I have a half a banana. I've noticed over the years I cannot do cardio to almost any degree without my muscles getting tight after, and I used to get sleepy post-workout. I tried electrolytes during the gym, but it doesn't help. My HCMA markers are normal. I enjoy being active. I've learned not to push it for the past 2 years, thinking that my body's too stressed. I now stick to mainly bodyweight exercises, no cardio. but I like getting the better oxygen, which increases my heart rate. Also, my morning temperature does not get above 97.6 degrees. Used a hormone test that I do not recommend. It's just not a great test, so I can't go by those results. You're in your 40s. TSH in the past was between 5 and 9 and is now lowered to 2 to 3. If you met me, you would think I had low energy. I am lean and not overweight. I want to get all my metabolism markers high again. Any advice would be helpful. Okay. So, Marissa, it simply seems like you've been run down over years of being the Vata body type, which is the more central nervous system stressed individual, and you're very lean, which means you're most likely not holding on to a lot of extras. And by extras, I mean extra proteins. And by that, I mean amino acids in muscle tissue, which are stores for your body. And I also mean vitamins and minerals and electrolytes. And by exercising that early in the morning, which is not ideal for a Vata-based body type because you want to ease into the day, you're just burning your body out to a greater degree. So for this, and if you truly are the ectomorph of Vata body type, it's just an imbalance in lifestyle right now, and most likely completely depleted in terms of your vitamins and minerals on a daily basis. And it simply might adding a little bit of lime and a pinch of sea salt to your water. Might be doing smoothies that are easier to digest and drinking them over a slower period of time. Maybe having a little bit of oatmeal in the morning as well with that smoothie. It might be warmer, more nourishing food that's easier to digest. Might be getting an extra hour of sleep as the Vata body type, right? Kapha body type, 7 to 8 hours. Pitta body type, about 8 hours sleep. Vata body type, about 8 to 9 plus hours. So for me, it's going back and doing the fundamentals. The other part is this. Your body temperature is 97.6. It's not in the 98s. And your heart rate variability is not where it should be, which means that your body is stressed. So you might not feel stressed, but your central nervous system is stressed. So what do we need to do that? Well, we need to do all the parasympathetic-based activities, which is not hard exercise, but it's actually calming-based exercise, hatha yoga. And it's, sure, you can do some body weight exercises, great. But let's repair the body, right? This is long-term approach as well. Going for a gentle walk, meditating, taking a hike in the woods, doing Epsom salt baths, light saunas, not too hot for someone that's overly stressed. No cold baths right now. It's not the best hermetic response for you. Yeah, if you haven't listened to my podcast on the hermetic response, then check out this podcast, StephenCabral.com/1182. So we need to tell your body that everything's okay, that it doesn't need to be in survival mode. And once we nourish it, once we calm it down with gentle massage, all of those things, then you're going to rejuvenate your body, because that's what you need right now, is some rejuvenation. And hopefully in the future, I'll be able to do more work, more seminars, and more videos and talks on that as well. So that is the answer, I believe, that you're looking for. Mrs. M is up next. Dear Dr. Cabral, I have searched but no results regarding bunions. Can you recommend a natural treatment that does not involve surgery? I did a Google search and found all sorts of kinds of splints and straps and bandages and toe separators. I would be very much appreciative if you could share any ideas on how to remedy the situation. I've only just begun to experience pain. I do not have a large growth, and it's only on one foot. The big toe only points towards my other toes slightly. My mother and grandmother had it quite badly. My mother had to have it removed surgically. I have large, wide feet, which makes finding comfortable, well-fitting shoes for work, office job nearly impossible. I'm also a runner, but do not yet feel much pain when running. Would very much like to avoid surgery if possible. Thank you in advance for all of your help and feedback. It's very much appreciative. Mrs. M. All right, Mrs. M, she wrote in on 3/18, March 18th, and of course, we're answering that question now. Okay, so let's get you your answer, Mrs. M. So for those people who don't know what bunions are, the most common type would be at the big toe and what's called the MTP joint. So what happens is we start to get a bulge there on the outer side of the toe. That actually forces then the big toe to point and push in. That's the beginning of, it does not have to get worse, but that's the beginning of the maladaptation of the foot, which will make it worse because now you're changing the actual structural integrity of the foot. So this is really important. And there's a couple big things that we can do right away. One, running is going to exacerbate it if your form is not correct. And your form is most likely not going to be correct if you have a bunion in the first place, because it's going to force that bigger toe to push in. Now, we can correct this by focusing on the form and also wearing wider shoes. So you're going to have to find a company that does have wider shoes. That's one. Some people like gel inserts. I don't love running with a lot of gel inserts. I don't think that it's great for the natural impact that you should feel when you run so that you can use your muscles rather than the skeletal part of the body. But here's the big thing, is we need to correct the structural integrity that probably happened in the first place. We need to stretch the feet. There's a great stretch in yoga. The name's escaping me right now, but it does not matter. Where basically you curl your toes, not under you, but pointed forward, and you're stretching the plantar tendons. So you're basically sitting back on your heels with your knees on the floor, and you are stretching the bottom of the heels. Now, of course, you should find someone locally that can show you all of these, but you can even look up, foot stretching or bunion stretching or plantar tendon stretching. That's why, wearing splints, sometimes they tell you that will help at night because it's allowing you to separate the toes, but also stretch the plantar tendon on the bottom of the foot. Okay, so that's going to help tremendously. Cutting back on running or not running and using an upright bike will also help because there's going to be less impact. And also you can control how much that foot is pressing down or rubbing up against the shoe itself. Another thing that helps is finding out what's causing inflammation in your diet. Is it gut-based? Is it food sensitivities? What's going on? Because you need to reduce inflammation in your body. Another big one that I've seen help a lot in my practice, Epsom salt foot soaks. So you get a bucket of water, you put in a cup of Epsom salt, you add some chamomile tea bags with hot water, that just throw them right in there, okay? You can add a little bit of calendula if you'd like, essential oil, and a little bit of lavender essential oil, and let your feet soak. How often? Every night if you'd like. You only have to do it for 20, 30 minutes. Let your feet soak in the Epsom salt, the calendula, the chamomile tea bags, the calendula, and then you can add a little bit of that lavender oil if you'd like as well. That is a great start. Remember to do your strengthening exercises for your ankles and your feet, like one-legged squats. They can be body weight, and lay off of the running, especially if you're a high mileage runner right now. It's most likely going to exacerbate it until we correct the underlying root causes. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for writing in, Miss M. Katie's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. This is the second time I've written into the Cabral Concepts, and instead of listing symptoms, I'd like to give you a more overarching health question. I'm in my late 20s. I've been struggling with physical and mental health issues, and for most of my adult life. As a young woman, I've made most of the mistakes early on because I was ignorant to the healthcare system and honestly wasn't a great advocate for myself. I've allowed health professionals to diagnose and prescribe medication without questioning any of their methods. I thought doctors were altruists who cared for my well-being and ultimately wanted to heal their patients. I was very wrong. I have a deep sense of distrust of doctors, and although I see more healing in the natural medicine and holistic industry, I still find myself questioning whether the treatments will work. It's a different business than the traditional healthcare industry, but a business nonetheless. How do you, I, or anyone for that matter, sift through all the information out in the world today? And how do we know who to trust? Sometimes I wish life came with an instruction manual. I'm feeling defeated and would love your insight. Thank you always for spreading your knowledge and positivity. Katie, thank you for writing in, and I know exactly where you're at right now in your life because I was there. And I would take months off at a time from no longer seeing any practitioners because nothing I was doing was working. When all along it was, though, Katie. It was. It didn't provide me with the direct answer that I needed, but it was a step in the right direction. And I was learning. All of those practitioners desperately wanted to help me. Even the medical doctors. Now, medical doctors are a little bit different because honestly, it's a factory. It really is. They're seeing 30 to 40 people a day. Think about that. That's insane. 200 people a week, 200 appointments a week. That's not a healthcare system. That's crazy. They could see anywhere from 600 to 1,000 people a month. That's completely insane. Completely insane with 15-minute appointments. That's not how to really help people get well. But they're forced into that system because that's how health insurance and that's how the American medical system does it. Now, a natural health practitioner, I don't know, Katie, of a single natural health practitioner that does not genuinely want to help you get well. Now, for sure, there are some people out there that are scamming the system. Those people, though, are pretty much just trying to sell you an online, maybe it might be, I don't know, like some just downloadable PDF to buy their this, or this. That's it. But I really believe most practitioners, they have your best interest in mind. They might not know how to peel back that onion to a deeper level. And that's why, people are running labs through a lot of other different companies because they see what we recommend. But the problem is the practitioner doesn't know how to peel back the onion fully. And I'm not trying to put down anyone else out there. I'm not. But you need to know how to peel back the onion or the lab results mean nothing. So that's why don't choose the lab, choose the practitioner. You want someone to be able to write a plan on what they understand based on your health. So Katie, here's the bigger thing though, is that you are learning and have learned all along the way. You're learning what works for your body and what doesn't. And a lot of times the answer you're looking for is just in greater detail to what you've probably done in the past. You probably tried a lot of different diets, a lot of different supplements, but you haven't just gone that one level deeper. So here's the thing. Most people in your position, what they honestly, truly need is to run lab tests to see the data for themselves. Because there's a lot of people out there that have done muscle testing, that have done online quizzes, that have done a lot of things that may or may not work for them. I'm not saying that they're not going to work. But when you get state-of-the-art data based on who you are and your vitamin levels, your omega-3 levels with inflammation, your micronutrients, your gut health, you're going to figure it out. I mean, this is state-of-the-art work. And you don't have to do it with us. You really don't. I mean, I'm certifying hundreds and eventually thousands of integrative health practitioners that I will not be, that I'm not a part of their career, their income. I'm not. They make all that money in the consultations and all that. I'm just looking to get more people out there who I know can do the work that people like Katie need. That's it. That's what it's all about. Because I'm telling you right now, if you ran the Big Five, Katie, and I'm not saying that you need to do this, and again, you can do this with any qualified practitioner. If you run the Big Five, or you run the Big Five plus a stool, or you run whatever you feel is appropriate for you, and you can ask those questions at cabralsupportgroup.com, you will figure out exactly what's wrong. If you're dealing with brain fog right now, who's to say it's not SIBO, it's not candida overgrowth, mixed with copper toxicity, low levels of zinc, and low levels of magnesium? Who's to say that it's not that? Or it's food sensitivities and you're sensitive to eggs and you're eating eggs 4 or 5 times a week. I don't know your answer, Katie, but I know how to help you find your answer. And that's through state-of-the-art lab testing. So because here's why, Katie, then I don't have to guess anymore. And neither do you, because the lab results don't lie. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to end with that question today. And that's because that was kind of an overall theme for how I believe that anyone can heal. I truly believe that. I absolutely do. And again, it never has to be with myself, my practice, and they're not even our labs. They're other labs. I just bring them and try to get them to people throughout the world. That's what it's all about. So thank you, Katie, for writing in. Thank you for all of you for being a part of this community. I truly appreciate you. And again, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.